Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square with T-Square Talk. So the video that I had planned out for today is decided not going to be the video that I decided to share. And so I am re-recording, saving that video for a future video. It was kind of about a trade where I'm trading someone one of these bad boys. So it's still sitting on my desk for now. Instead, it's about the congratulations, I guess, is probably the coolest thing to say, as gold just hit $2,400 and silver hit $29. As essentially I don't want to say the reset, but I will say the collapse is pretty well happening right now. A lot of people don't even see it. A lot of people won't see it. It will just come as a blind side to most. When you look at what's going on right now, we have a lot of countries that are literally ditching the dollar in huge amounts of cash. They're just dumping everything. And they're picking up a lot of gold and silver. You have citizens from a lot of different countries. And it's kind of interesting because this is something I did not think would happen, but it makes sense when you see it happening. We have the dollar, and this is where I kind of have to laugh a little bit, literally hitting 105 right now at like midnight, which is great. I mean, the dollar is getting stronger, or so we are told, according to the charts. But here's the thing. I've said this time and time again. If 10 of us jump out of a plane, we're all falling to the ground. Yeah, I might look like I'm maybe floating down, but I'm still falling. It doesn't matter if you're the first one to hit the ground or the last one to hit the ground. You're still going to be splat. And that's kind of what a lot of currencies are doing. Right now, the dollar is not falling as hard as a lot of other currencies, unless they have switched over to a gold-backed currency, like one country just recently did over in Africa. But the important thing to really take from that, a lot of people are going to be naysaying. We've seen this start climbing. We're seeing these huge swings. I mean, look at what the price was yesterday. I mean, the price was as low as $27.50, as it looked like it was trying. The powers that be were trying to bring it down, and it didn't stop anything. You just seen huge amounts of buying just come in like a swarm and literally just skyrocketed up. And as the day went on, it just continued and continued and continued. And at a certain point, when you have a business, we've referred to individuals and countries as a business. When an individual is spending more money than it is making, that person's going to go bankrupt. It's a sad thing. It's a sad part of life. I mean, when people are struggling in debt, they can't make ends meet. It's just a matter of time before they just throw up their hands and go bankrupt. And just before they do, what do you usually see that individual do? You know what? Just max out the cards. I hate to say it because I know it's wrong to do that. People should pay their bills and their debts. But if you know your good name is going to be ruined, your credit score is going to be ruined, and you won't be able to borrow anything, there are going to be people out there that are just going to go out and just charge as much as they can. You know what? Buy 6 months worth of food. Have plenty of canned goods on hand. Just buying whatever you can that you might need now, because it ain't going to matter. It's just going to make your life a little. You'll still get paid. You'll still go to work each day, and you'll keep getting a paycheck. But bankruptcy will pretty much be the end of your credit. You will not be able to charge anything else after that. And moving on to a country, it's the same thing. These spending plans that we are spending more and more money, people are seeing through that now. A lot of people are trying to grab on to anything they can. That's where cryptos essentially have been, I'll say, on the move, but they've kind of been stalled out a little bit lately, which I kind of find a little funny because I mean, one, I have a bunch of cryptos, although I did just recently liquidate, hoping to see a good pullback. So it's a possibility. Hold on one second here. So it is a possibility that if the stock market takes a huge enough hit, and essentially I think it realistically could, because of the inflation that's about ready to start. As inflation starts, there's going to be a flee to safe haven assets. And essentially a lot of these people could decide tomorrow or the next day, you know what, let's start dumping our stocks. And all of a sudden stocks come down. Possibility crypto will come down, because let's be honest, crypto is super easy to liquidate. It's not like gold and silver. If it's paper gold, paper silver, it's easy to liquidate. But physical, you got to drive it somewhere. You got to take a little time. It's not as quick as of a button. Another reason why I liquidated a lot of my crypto is last month I ended up spending way more. Some of y'all seen it maybe in the comments. Than essentially I should have bought. I bought a lot more than I normally would. But I'm starting to see that, this is it. This is what a lot of people have been essentially preparing for. This is why we stack. Every day we're seeing it continue to climb up. And even though they're trying to bring it down, they know. And as it continues to go, there's not going to be any stopping people from seeing it. They're going to see what's going on, and they're going to look to buy gold and silver. I have one friend that he is huge in CDs and cash, and he's been combing eBay and Facebook and everywhere he can go, pawn shops, literally everything, just looking for little pieces of gold, little pieces of silver. And that's where essentially a lot of crooks are going to come into play, and a lot of dishonest people are going to thrive in that kind of panic. And there's not much way around it at this point. You need to be very careful what you do. Most people, if you've been stacking for a while, you've been, really open and paying attention to what's going on. You've seen this coming. You're prepared, and you just know, hey, I got to pay a little bit more now for my silver. I got to pay a little bit more now for my gold. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that just, they've been naysaying. I mean, I can go back and read the comments, and I may one day, start combing through some of these comments just for essentially something to do, because it's interesting. It's interesting how quick it's going up. It's interesting that they're trying to make it look like nothing bad is happening, but it's happening. It's happening. And, most of us are stacked. If you're watching the channel, you've probably been stacking for a little while. Maybe you're new to it. If you're new to it, congrats. Welcome to the party. I can't give you any financial advice because I'm not a licensed financial advisor. But my opinion, I wouldn't want to go into this without having a little bit of gold and silver on hand, because there's really, that's it. And, like I said earlier, when a person's about ready to go, they're going to spend every last bit. And you know what? The government knows it too. Government is going to do it just like anybody else. They're going to keep spending. And that's why they're approving more and more of these policies, more and more money getting spent out. There's just not really going to be an end to it. I have one friend that he's like, when Trump comes back in, he's going to fix everything, and silver will come down, gold will come down. I wish that was the case. Whether or not you like Donald Trump is not important. I'm not going to get political. I am a Trump supporter. I do like Donald Trump. I like his policies. Is what I like most about him, is that, he knows how to play the game. But the truth of the matter is, when he was in, he wanted lower interest rates, and lower interest rates are not the answer. It's really not. It just adds to inflation, and nobody wants it. Just where they spend their money, whether we're spending the money on overseas borders, Ukraine borders, whatever, or we're spending money on the U.S. borders or whatever. It's a lot of the same thing. It's still spending, and it's still going to take us down this path that we're on. And you know what? Our Achilles heel, essentially is the dollar, and it being the world reserve currency. And once that goes, it's going to be ugly. And a lot of people can't see that. I've said before on other videos, start prepping, make a little plans, have some extra food, water, supplies on hand, a method of security, have a plan in place, start cutting your bills down, get out of debt. I had one friend talk to me about, oh, will I be okay if I owe a ton of money? Will it matter if the system collapses? You know, that's going to be a what if, how that plays out. I wouldn't want to go into that situation owing, but, you know, yeah, it's a possibility everything will be reset. But it's also a possibility that maybe it won't go down the way we think exactly. I did not think that the dollar would look like it's getting stronger when you can clearly see it's getting weaker and prices of everything are going up. Look at the pumps right now when you go to get gas. Look at food at the grocery store. It's starting. And if you're not prepared for it, you're going to get stomped on. It's sad. It really is. It worries me. I do get why it's happening, but it's ugly, and it's happening fast. I mean, $29 silver. We are there. $2,400 gold. It's just going to keep going up from here. So anything you've gotten in the past, you should have made money on by now, unless you happen to buy in 2011, and then you're still underwater in that case. Yeah, you take the last 20, 30 years maybe, and maybe there was one spot where you had an opportunity to lose money, but the window's small. And I think, you know, anybody that bought when it was 50 could have been buying all the way down to 22 and lowering their dollar cost average. But they didn't. Maybe they were negative about it. Who knows? So we'll see how this plays out. It's going to be really interesting. It's exciting. It's scary a little bit. But if you're stacked, you're prepped, you'll probably be all right, I think. But it's going to be interesting how the next weeks play out and what can happen when essentially the next domino to fall. We could see a bank go under. We could see them raise interest rates. I know that sounds crazy. The only way they're going to get gold and silver under control is if they essentially raise interest rates even higher. But that will actually get worse for the government because they can't afford to pay the amount of money they owe with a higher interest rate. So I don't think they'll go that route, but it's a possibility just to put gold and silver in check. But it ain't going to stop nothing in a way because other countries want gold and silver now. They don't want dollars anymore. They're moving away, and that could be the end of it. It's, like I said, it's sad, but it's happening. So with that being said, I thank y'all for watching the video. If you made it this far, please hit the thumbs up. I always try to start out like that. Follow for more. We are living in some crazy times right now. Never before have you had an opportunity to pick up gold and silver for essentially cheap money. So with that being said, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys again on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.